Okay, welcome to the full moon in Scorpio. Of course, I had to do a tarot reading. Of course. And already a lot has come out. So I was going to just pull all the cards and just get to it. But so many of the cards came out in the first card, in the first question, that I have to pull it, tell you about it, put the cards back in so that I don't have like a thin deck to work with. But that's really the vibe of this full moon in Scorpio. You want to keep in mind over this time period. So today's the full moon in Scorpio on May 12th. So yesterday and even May 10th, and now May 13th to May 14th, even, we're feeling this Scorpio energy. Scorpio rules the eighth house. The eighth house is the room in your house that you don't want to go into. It's where you kind of put all it's literally my closet right here. It's where you put all your sentimental junk. It's where you put all your tax information, all your bills, the shit you don't want to deal with, all your like ex-lovers in there as well, like all your past photos, your childhood photos, all the stuff you don't want to deal with. And also a lot of memorabilia. A lot of my husband's comics are in there, so our investments as well, because it has that eighth house energy, the things that we value. So our eighth house is that closet in our spare room that we don't want to look at, but right now we can look at it. So it's really powerful, because I was just in there the other day and I got really vindicated. I found something in there that I shouldn't have even been looking at, and it didn't belong to me. And I was looking at it and it's in my closet, so it's fair game. And I was looking at it and I got vindicated on something that is very Scorpio as well, that revenge or vindication or everything coming back around. So go look in your closet, in your spare bedroom closet, if you have one, that tucked away part of the back of the closet that you don't want to look at. Look at it in this full moon in Scorpio, because you're going to see things from a completely different perspective now. There's awareness when we're looking at it. There's time and information and wisdom that has been gained in this time. Okay, so that being said, we're doing that in an energetic way with this full moon in Scorpio. We're basically opening up the door in our closet and we're looking at stuff in order to be vindicated, not in a vindictive way, but kind of in a, okay, I can release this now. I can stop feeling a certain type of way about it because I'm being justified. Justified is fine. All right. Let's get started, because like I said, I'm very excited. I love Scorpio energy, and those are some famous last words, and I should knock on wood, but let's go. All right, so the first card that we're going to be discovering with this full moon in Scorpio, I should say, are secrets to be revealed. And you want to bear in mind that this is the collective. So when I asked collectively what secrets are going to be revealed, the Six of Pentacles came out. And the Six of Pentacles, what I first noticed, because in tarot reading, I'm always not just going by the generic definition at all. I'm reading the symbols from the card. And right here, there is a bumblebee. I hope you can see that. And that bumblebee, the legs to me look like the North Node sign in astrology. And it's 3 minutes and 33 seconds when I said that. So that's that affirmation. And part of the full moon in Scorpio is creating the circle of affirmations like that. So the North Node on the bumblebee told me that collectively what's going to be happening with this full moon in Scorpio, a secret that's going to be revealed, is based on our energy investments. Where we put our energy and realizing, hold on a second, I actually have a lot of power there. Why am I putting so much energy into that? Why am I not just walking away or recognizing someone else's power over you, being like, why have I just allowed that for so long? Why have I not just walked away? The full moon in Scorpio is really showing you where we have power struggles. So somebody having power over you or you having power over them. And look it up in the synastry chart. Look, all you do, so go to astro.com. I might make a separate video showing how to do this, but go to astro.com. Put in both birth details of the person you think probably has a power over you or somebody who you feel has a huge influence over you. Wherever their Pluto is, in your chart is where they have power over you, and vice versa. Wherever Pluto is in your chart is where you have power over them. So look at the people, because this is the North Node in astrology represents karma and past life work, right? So it's really easy for this person to receive power from you because they're like a honeybee. They're like the queen bee. They pull in a lot of energy and you serve them. And this full moon in Scorpio is starting to realize that, being like, holy like I invested energy into this queen bee. I invested energy into them. I put a lot of energy into it. Domestic energy. So domestic energy is unpaid labor. Domestic energy is the love, the care, the extra ingredient in that dinner or that cupcake you made that you can't quantify it, but it definitely has value. It definitely has value. That's what you invested and put in to this person, this queen bee type energy. And karmically, you're trying to rebalance. You're trying to give them power in order to find that balance. Once again, it feels like a domestic duty. But this full moon in Scorpio just wants you to be aware of it. You know what I mean? A slave knows that they're a slave. A domestic worker knows that they're a domestic worker. And in some capacity, they're getting paid. But the unawareness of the work that we do and the influence that we have is where we start to get taken advantage of. So this full moon in Scorpio says that the secrets that are going to be revealed are how much energy we put in to our domestic duties, how much power we invest, especially into a queen bee that feels karmic. It feels like they're able to pull so much energy from you, so much power from you without your control. And it's a big deal, and it's something that has to be looked at. Okay, so after the Six of Pentacles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more cards popped out. So bear with me as I work through it. So the Six of Pentacles was saying a secret that's being revealed to the collective is all of the power that we give away, donate basically, to a queen bee that feels like a karmic connection. What we should be doing is focusing our energy on ourselves, because a change is here. A major change is here because we've invested our thoughts into a conflict that ended up keeping us trapped, and we ended up manifesting a stale energy, a very, very stale, bored, like stale lock, like can't give, can't receive. There's definitely a block there that we've created, and that's being revealed as a secret with this full moon in Scorpio, okay? We have pulled back all of our energy, which has now created a change to how we invest our thinking into a conflict that has us very locked when it comes to our giving and receiving. And now, therefore, that's where we're at when it comes to manifestation, because we can't compartmentalize our manifestation saying, I'm no longer giving power to this person with my awareness. I want to stop giving power to them. And then we end up manifesting that outwardly in every area. And now we are completely blocked. We have to give power to the conflict. Invest your mental energy into the conflict as if it was your job, and that way you release it. That's what I'm starting to realize. That's one thing I realized with the full moon in Scorpio. Lean into the pain. Why are we always running away from pain? Why are we always, we're trying so hard to not be hurt. Why? And then we go and get tattoos and piercings. Or, when I'm stressed, I notice what I do is I'll pluck my own nose hair. And I remember hearing about, I remember a story of a girl I used to know who used to pull out little strands of hair. We do inflict pain on ourselves as human nature unconsciously, constantly. We're putting ourselves through pain. So if we can handle those small hurts, why can't we handle the big hurts? Why can't we just lean into it and be like, this is my period of pain? That's why the full moon in Scorpio represents emo. I just had all of my Taurus, like my whole family is all Tauruses. We have them all lined up, these beautiful pink dresses, the Libra and the Tauruses all in pink and pastels, and then the one Scorpio rising, all black hair, like the 11-year-old Scorpio rising. She's the only one with Scorpio in her big three, and she is emo. She is goth. Scorpio loves the pain. They love to bring in that hurt because that's where the transformation is. Think about being tortured. If someone can handle the pain of being tortured, that's some deep loyalty, and that's what Scorpio wants. It wants to see how much pain you can go through. How much pain you can go through. It almost represents loyalty. All right, this person can be trusted. They're not a liability. All right, okay. See, like I'm going off. All right, so the secrets that are going to be revealed with this full moon in Scorpio are the fact that you have invested, collectively, we've invested a lot of our precious energy, our domestic energy, so unquantifiable value. We've invested that into a queen bee, almost like a karmic structure. Like there's no way out of it. And all we can do is to bust through that with this full moon in Scorpio, recognizing that that secret is revealed. Holy shit, I've put so much energy into you, and you've been like a queen bee, just, receiving all of this, and it feels karmic that I'm just a worker bee and I'm not the queen bee. That awareness is leading to saying, all right, I'm now going to start focusing on myself. I can make myself the queen bee. I can put all of that energy that I put into this queen bee into myself. However, that is causing a massive change out of your control. Because hello, wouldn't the ecosystem completely shut down if all the worker bees decided I'm no longer investing into the queen bee anymore? Like, we'd all die, right? So it's causing a massive change that is out of our control. Even though we did create it in some way, it is a ripple effect. So we're going to have to stop and invest a lot of mind energy into the fact that the conflicts that we did or did not have are now creating this ripple effect. Maybe the worker bees could have, held up the ecosystem if they just conflicted with the queen bee and said, listen, what's the point? Let's talk about it. Why are you hoarding all of my energy? Why are you pulling all of my energy in? Why does this feel karmic? Maybe the queen bee would then be able to say, listen, I have a bigger calling. I can feel it. I need to hold energy in order to create something bigger. Then we'd be like, okay, I get it. All right, you need it. You're jealous. You're whatever. You're all these things. All right, fine. I'll give it to you. So this conflict that we did or did not have is now creating a ripple effect that wants us to sit back, pull our energy together, resources together in order to manifest. So the secrets that are being revealed this full moon in Scorpio, like I said, there's a lot of cards here that I needed to kind of go through. But yeah, that's what's being revealed here, is how much friggin' power we give away as if it's our karmic duty to a honeycomb queen bee, and it's time to start focusing back on us, because we can really create a ripple effect of manifestation. Through that, we can be our own queen bees. We can have a million different hives. You know what I mean? And our worker bees are maybe, our kids and our family members that are kind of in our community that are uniting together. We don't need to have one massive queen bee that rules everything. All right, so where are we going to journey deeper with this full moon in Scorpio? Where are we journeying deeper with this full moon in Scorpio for the collective? All right, so that card popped back in, and here it is. Look, that's so cool. Pop back in, and now it's right here. The Knight of Wands. So young fire energy. What else do we need to know about this? The Emperor. So this young fire energy, young Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, is creating a huge impact over this full moon in Scorpio because they have a lot of power. They have incredible empowerment. And it's crazy because they're so young. So, wow. Yeah, we never thought that this young fire energy could be this powerful because they are so young, but they've played the game. They've seen what it takes. So where to journey deeper is to look at this young fire sign energy, this young Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius. This person is a member of something. So this young fire energy that's a member of something, they have a lot of power because of who they're enlisted. Like they're on a list of some sort with someone. I think it's their association. So it's time to start thinking different about this young fire energy because they've played a game really, really well. And they played it fairly as well, and they've won, and it's really astonishing because they're so young. And that's wild. That's wild. This young fire sign that's a member of something. So journey deeper into this young fire sign energy, keeping in mind that because this is a collective reading, it could either be somebody that you know, it could be a celebrity or someone more notable because this is collective. Okay, so how to live your passion. How can you live your passion this full moon in Scorpio? Four of Cups, get bored so that you're forced to make a decision. Oh my God, it makes me think about figuring out what to watch on Netflix. Like a lot of the times you're scrolling through and you get I just heard this actually yesterday that apparently viewership is highest on the Netflix homepage. That's where the most viewership is over anything ever watched on Netflix. That decision making, it does bring in a lot of passion. It brings in anger. Like you get frustrated, right? And you're like, fine, let me just do this. Okay. You make a risky decision. You just do something foolish. You want to just do this. Okay. How to live your passion. Get bored. So you have to make a decision that seems foolish out of boredom. And it creates a new beginning. So you have to be so like out of your mind bored, so over it that you have to make a decision, so over having to make decisions that that's where the passion starts to creep in. And then you can make a decision that is a little bit risky, but it's leading to a new beginning. And it's a slow burn new beginning, which is always really nice, right? Like you don't want some bushfire burn. You want a slow burn because you can maintain it, you can watch it, you can control it, and you receive a little bit of warmth. So it's not some crazy fire, but at least it is providing what you need. And it's really cool to watch as well. There's messages as well that you can learn through the growth. So how to live your passion over this full moon in Scorpio. Get bored so that you have to make a decision, which will then ignite passion or anger, whatever. And that decision will be so foolish that ultimately leads into a new beginning. So that's awesome. That's sick. All right. And use your intuition. Always using your intuition with the full moon in Scorpio. Okay. How and where to focus your potent magic with the full moon in Scorpio. Okay, so it's the Eight of Swords, which is all about holding back your power, realizing the power that you do have, and how that can ultimately be a huge detriment. Being the most powerful person in the room is not always the best thing because people always want to combat and challenge the most powerful person so that they could be the most powerful person. That's why Scorpio's power is always kind of behind the scenes, not so much Pisces-like, but a Scorpio with Pisces is definitely more powerful behind the scenes. So how and where to focus your potent magic? Pull back. It's the Eight of Swords. It's saying pull back your power because the scorpion in the desert, when it feels like it's being threatened, that prey or whatever, what the scorpion does is it attacks and disembowels itself, right? And there's this like little gerbil that lives in the desert that is the only thing that can defeat a scorpion. So it's almost like you have to be super soft. Like I'm surrounded by scorpions or Scorpios, and I find that it's the highest compliment because I know that they can see through bullshit. Like they have a bullshit detector, especially the moon in Scorpios. So if a moon in Scorpio doesn't vibe with me, I'm like, I need to come correct. Like they're sensing something. I'm off. Like I really, really, really value the Scorpio's intuition. So the best place to use the full moon in Scorpio is through your intuition, realizing the power that you have. So if you even for a second question, wow, I actually had an influence over that, own it. Anywhere or any way that you saw something that you did or said or whatever, or maybe you had an opportunity to say or do something that is different from what you received in childhood, that power right there, own it over these next 2 days. Just embody it. So how and where to focus your potent magic, recognize your power, recognize when you need to hold back. So as soon as you own it, you're like, I'm now going to use this as an asset. I'm not just going to give it out to anyone. You know what I mean? Like this is powerful. So you own it, you turn it into an asset, and then you can start focusing more on how much your thoughts end up being that constraint when it comes to your potent magic. I was just talking to Moon in Scorpio who said that she doesn't have a gift. Like she refuses to say that she has a gift, but she says that when I say things, they come true. And I was like, oh, like a black tongue. And she's like, yeah, black tongue. I say things and they come true. So that awareness over the full moon in Scorpio, she better be a lot more careful about what she says. Also, when she says things to me now, I'm telling her, rebuke that. Like, don't say that shit. Like, shut up. You know what I mean? Like, your black tongue. You know what I mean? So Scorpio energy, a lot of the times what they say, they think it's a gift of foresight or like foreshadowing. No, like you willed that. Like you spoke, that's your magic. Like you spoke that into existence, like 100%. So how and where to focus your potent magic this full moon Scorpio, pull back your power and recognize how much our words and our thoughts can be our biggest blocks. Our biggest blocks. Scorpion energy, disembowel themselves because they feel threatened by something else. And then it's the soft, gushy things that end up being able to overpower them because they're always focused on their perceived predators and they completely forget about the soft ones that they open up to. All right, that's the full moon in Scorpio. Do a cord cutting for sure. Put your crystals out for sure. And reach out to me if you want a personalized reading. I'll link you actually. All right, have an amazing full moon in Scorpio. Bye.